welcome to Hamadroids.net. Obviously we're UK based Hamadroids, and we're actually based in London, and one thing that's going on starting tomorrow is there's a new cycle hire scheme in London. So I came across some apps that are already on the marketplace. To give you a quick brief understanding of the cycle hire, basically there's loads of stations around Zone 1 of London. You register for the scheme, you get a little fob, you use your fob to release a bike from one of the stations, you cycle it to another station and you lock it back in. If your journey is less than 30 minutes, it's totally free. The next 30 minutes is £1, and then apparently it starts getting more and more expensive the longer you have it. But you know, if you can't get wherever you're going in an hour within Zone 1, then you need to cycle faster basically. So we have four apps here. 3 of them are free. The bottom 3 as we look at the marketplace, and I've just used London Cycle Hire as the search term, as you can see, and the one at the top there was only 50p in itself anyway. So I'm going to have a look at 3 of them one at a time. I'm going to move quite quick because I don't want to bore you guys. So the bottom one, London Cycle by Third Frame Studios. It's got 4.5 stars, as you can see. Let's just see how many people. So it's had 100 to 500 downloads. I should say there are apparently there's 11,000 people have signed up for this scheme already. It opens tomorrow morning at 6 AM. 11,000 people have signed up. There's 5,000 bikes, so it's they're making a decent effort of it. So let's open this one up. The London Cycle. Now I've got my GPS turned on, and we will get a lock in a moment for me being indoors. The first thing I've found with this one, if it will. Not doing anything at the moment. Let's give it a second. But what I was finding, in fact, I wonder if my phone's locked up. Let's see. Come on. Oh dear. Okay, that's interesting. Well, I won't edit it out or anything. I'll leave it there. This is all part of the review. I suppose that is the first time it's happened. I've had it on 3 or 4 times. That's the first time it's locked up, and I wonder if it might be to do with because the GPS signal is a bit weaker. So we're back there, and I press Find Nearest, and it tells me Prince Albert Road. And it draws the map, and there it is. Now the arrow there just moves me to the next one, the next nearest. Now interestingly, the one thing it was doing before, and it's not done yet, it kept snapping back to my home location. Like, it was very frustrating. I couldn't really see what on earth I was doing because it kept like jumping back like that. Now I don't know if that's because, again, maybe it's because I'm in. Here we go. Look, maybe it's because I'm indoors, and each time it keeps losing me and then finding me again. And maybe it'll work fine. But it won't even. You know, I'm pressing to see all locations. I mean, to me, that in itself is still quite annoying. Just because it's found GPS location doesn't mean it has to snap back. So there we get a bit of an overview. Look, where all the oh god, I don't even know how many there are. Lots of stations are. Snap, and there it is. Anyway, that's pretty much all this one does. The menu button doesn't seem to do anything at all. Sorry, I can't see me. The menu button doesn't do anything at all. That button brings me back out again. So I've got to say, I'm kind of surprised that one's got 4.5 stars. So I don't think much of it, to be honest. Okay, the next one's actually a widget. Let me come back out to the home screen, and I'm going to add the widget. I've got to say, this one so far is probably my favourite one. So, touch to update, it says. Straight away it finds the nearest ones. It gives me arrows showing me which way they are. Although I'm not... I think the arrows, rather than being... Oh, no, they are moving now, sorry. I don't know if you can see that. I'm not sure they're really staying. I don't know how those arrows are working. Whoa, they're flipping all around the place. Trying to work out if they're working, sorry. Okay, well, I'll move on. So, it tells you the nearest locations, and it, in theory, has an arrow pointing which way, but I think it should be... trying to work out. It should be that way. That should be straight ahead now, and they're not moving. Anyway, so you tap on it again, and it lists all the ones that are nearest. Now, what this has that the others don't, which is quite interesting. Okay, I can open it in the map, and it gives me directions from where I am to to the one, which is, so we can see, that's the one we were looking at before on the previous app. Now, I don't know how, settings, use crowdsourcing, maximum age to display 3 hours, distance unit in meters. So this crowdsourcing, show and share cycle hire location status info provided by users. Now the first time I opened it, it was there. So, oh sugar, don't want to admit. Sorry, I don't know why I pressed that. Anyway, so the first time that I opened it, there was a bar underneath one of the things, and it basically was saying, tell us how many are there, less than 2 cycles available, less than 2 slots available, or closed. So you could tap any one of those to, well, I guess to warn people, you know, because if you're cycling somewhere, you want to check that there are slots for you to lock your bike back in, or if you're walking around to pick up a bike, you want to check there are some there. Now maybe it's because I'm jumping the gun a bit, and I know the red arrows there all mean that they're all closed. How do I, there we go, include, so I'll put him back. So maybe when it starts working, maybe I should have waited until tomorrow till it's actually in action, but I wanted to give you guys a bit of a heads up. But yeah, I mean, to me that seemed quite useful. Also, I don't know if you can see at the side there, it tells you how many slots are in each one. So when it's in operation, the crowdsourcing, it looks like quite a clever feature. I think the arrows will change colour to sort of green or whatever if there's loads of bikes and things. And this is the only one at this point that does this. Now, looking at the video on the Travel for London website, the terminals at the docking stations will have information of if there are spaces at other stations. So if you do cycle somewhere and there's no spaces for you to lock your bike in, you look at the terminal and it says, oh, this one like 300 metres away has got spaces. So if that information is available to terminals, you would hope that someone can get it onto the app as well. So hopefully one of these will get updated where you can actually see how many free spaces there are or how many bikes there are available. But yeah, that's the widget, Cycle Hire widget by Little Fluffy Toys. That's the one you know, I think shows a lot of promise. London Cycle Hire next, only has 2 stars. Let's have a look at this one. It says they're giving access to over 6,000 cycles in almost 400 locations across Zone 1, and as I say, they're all sort of 300 or 400 metres apart, so they're very, you know, if you work in Zone 1, there will be one of these near you. You've probably seen it go up quite recently. So, here we are. We can move around the map, we can zoom out, we can zoom in. We can tap on one of them, it tells us 21 docking points, but that would appear to be all we can do. If I press the menu, nothing at all. There's no kind of, I've got GPS on, doing nothing for me. I don't really, yeah, it's literally just a Google map with some markers on it. That's why it's got 2 stars. Very slow, crashes, you know. Do you not know any better alternative? Check out Hemodroid's son, we'll give you better alternatives. So this one's the 50p app by Lockstock. It's had less than 50 downloads and 5 ratings with 4.5 stars. Impressive looking forward to the bike, sorry. Great app, so pleased available on the Android. I mean, that's one of the things I'm really pleased with, that they've come, I know there is, well actually no, I don't know if there is iPhone apps already, but it's great to have a few to choose from already on Android. So, the first thing we see there is how many of these places there are, and how none of them are any use to me. But I can zoom in, obviously. I didn't check, does this touch to zoom? Yep, touch to zoom. The icon's in the corner, I think that one's to turn on, so it says at the bottom, sorry, there we go, now following your location, no longer following your location. The second button there, I tap that and it says showing nearest location. Now obviously it's zoomed right the way out because I'm miles away. I would hope if I'm actually in, if I zoom in, it zooms in on good old Prince Albert, I assume, is it? I can't see, but I'm sure that's the same one that the other one showed me. If we tap on it, it tells us the actual sort of address, and it tells us how big the size is. If we press get directions, it plots us a route to follow. So that's quite cool. And one of the other things, because obviously this is a pay as you use it, you've got a timer, so you can start your timer when you set out, and if you're not sure at a set of traffic lights, you can whip this out and see, okay, how much have I spent so far, which is a nice little touch. It's not essential. I'm sure you're wearing a watch or there's a clock on your phone, but it's a nice little touch. If I would hope this one being a paid app, this would be one of the ones that would make a bit of effort to get a bit more information about how many bikes are available at each station. I'll really quickly get you the QR code for this particular one. So this is the paid app, 50p. I'll go back and get the QR code for the other one that I thought was very good, the widget. I probably won't bother with the other ones. If you don't mind, you can find it if you need. Oh yeah, sorry, I can't. How do I get them? It's going to give me a QR code for the market, isn't it? Okay. Oh, I know what I can do. I can go into it. Sorry, come back out. Let's go into the app itself. Then I can get us a QR code. So this is the one I would recommend. I think the one that's a widget. I just like that you're able to report how many bikes are available, how many slots are available. That to me seems to be the best use. Right, well, I think I've bored you for long enough. I do apologise about that, but hopefully that's been quite useful for you if you're going to be using the scheme. My name's Andy. This is Hemodroids.net.